Hey yo, what is up everybody, ASUS Samurai 7 here, and in today's video we are back with another Project Zomboid video. And in today's video we are continuing the story of Wallace Epperson. If you haven't seen the first video where we covered the first 7 days, I encourage you to go check that one out beforehand. You can click the card at the top of the screen to go straight there. And with all that out of the way, let's get right into the video. Starting with the morning of day 8, I checked my map to see where I wanted to start our adventure today. I saw a community services building close by, thinking it would have a parking lot with cars and hopefully gas. But before I would go over there, I remembered the nails in the shed. After grabbing them and a hammer, I barricaded the windows up even more, until I had no more planks left, and then I made my way out to search the building. When I got close, I spotted a shed in the backyard of the house we searched in the video prior. Inside there was a generator. I made my way through the window, grabbed a car battery and then the Jenny, and headed back home to drop it off. I was getting hungry, so I heated up a pot of stew we had found and snacked on it, before heading back out to the community building, which ended up being a church. I made my way into the pastor's house and took a key I found on him. Now it's 6 keys. The only good thing in the house was the abundance of food, so I decided to check out the church. Not much inside, but in the parking lot I saw 2 cars that looked drivable. I took some vitamins to help with the tiredness that was starting to occur, and ate a banana to fuel me up before going at the zombies. After clearing out the first group, I got closer to the parked vehicles and saw a key on the ground. Finally, we might be able to drive a car. I killed 2 zombies, then checked out the Jeep. Mechanics looked good, but with no car key inside, I was hoping that it was the one lying outside. I went over and grabbed it, and thankfully it was the correct one. I checked the other car for gas. With none inside and the car locked, I killed the other roamer nearby. The trunk of the car, however, was unlocked, inside housing 2 empty bottles we can fill up and a first aid kit with medical items inside. I added a little bit of gasoline we had to the car and drove it home, crashing it a couple of times along the way. This is the first time I've driven a car, or maybe the second, I can't really remember. When I got home, I filled up the bottles, marked the church on the map, and went straight to sleep for the night. Day 9 started off with some organizing, moving the rest of the books in the reading room to the shelf downstairs. I ate the rest of the soup in the pot for breakfast, and after grabbing my hammer and the saw, I went upstairs and took apart this chair for more planks. Since I was already doing a lot of housework, I put on a brave face and went into my daughter's room for the first time in a while. I found one of her toy cars in the room and picked up the scrap wood to clean it up. I placed the car in the bathroom along with the other toys and then watched the cooking show. Our new car only had 3% of a tank, but had 2 spare tires in the trunk. It was finally time to start my day, venturing back towards the convenience store, when I noticed a couple of zombies gathered in the street. After taking them out, I noticed a great looking vehicle through the tree line. I made my way over, checking the glove box, when I heard the screeching sounds of the helicopter coming my way. I forced open the window of the house and hopped in, finding a baseball bat inside. I closed all the curtains I could, then found some things to read and eat and went into the safe room, until it was quiet enough to head out. I checked the truck for a key, then dispatched a zombie nearby. Now that it was safe, I investigated the area in hopes of maybe coming up lucky, but ultimately, I could never find it. On my way home, I walked past all the zombies that had led back over from the helicopter, but with Wallace being tired and hungry, I figured it wouldn't be a good time to take them all on. When I got home, I cleaned myself off before finishing Trapping Volume 1 and going to sleep. When I woke up, I checked my map to see where we would go today. After seeing a couple stray unsearched houses, I made my way over in the cover of the fog. Once the zombies around the house were cleared, I pried open the window and let myself in. The house wasn't packed with loot, so still having more carrying space, I went into the neighboring one. Now this one was really empty. At least I came away with more food and in a room with a box of comic books. With a feeling these were probably valuable before the apocalypse, I took them home to read while we were bored. When I got home, I looked at my skills. Seeing the carpentry was only at 3, I grabbed a hammer and a saw to go out and level it up, since we would need to get it to level 4 to make the rain catcher. Now with more planks, I added them to the windows. For dinner, I would make a stir fry with a bunch of ingredients inside. While it was heating up, I added planks to the last 2 windows. Now everything was completely boarded up. I wasn't getting enough XP from my carpentry, so I sat down and read volume 2 for the rest of the night to increase the multiplier. Before going to sleep, I dismantled this annoying bedside table I've been meaning to since day 1, and then went to sleep. And while I'm asleep, if you're enjoying the video, consider leaving a like. It's quick to do and really helps out the channel a lot. Anyway, let's get right back to the video. I woke up the next morning to finish the book we were reading, and then started reading First Aid Volume 1 until it was finished as well. I ate some food and then went back over to the subdivision we were searching earlier. After clearing all the zombies out of the yard of the first house, I made my way in, not finding much inside. On my way home, I stopped by another house, dismantling the furniture inside for planks. Once everything in the living room and kitchen was in my backpack, I made my way home, clearing out my inventory before going to sleep. After spending most of yesterday reading, I figured we should start leveling up some of our skills. I started by uninstalling and reinstalling the lights to our car over and over until it didn't give me any more XP. I didn't realize that there was a cap to the amount of times that you can do this, but apparently there is. I did the same to the radio, leveling up my electrical skill. After that, I took a look at my map to see what was on today's agenda. I noticed an industrial building, but first we would have to loot the houses in between. For now though, it was foggy, so I tried something new. I popped in a VHS of a cook show and checked to see if it was a way to level up my skills as well. Luckily enough, it was. After watching the cook show, I grabbed Exposure Survival, which leveled up foraging to level 1. The last one, titled Water Collection, increased our carpentry skill almost all the way to level 4. Around 10 AM, it was still foggy, but I went outside anyway, making my way over to the 2 houses, the first of which had 2 zombies inside. There was a hammer and a saw in the closet, which I would leave for now. After searching the kitchen and eating a cabbage, I went next door, grabbing a VHS in case we are ever bored, a crowbar, bandages, and food. One of the best houses in a while. I marked off the 2 we just searched on my map and returned home to deposit what we have found so far. When I was returning back towards the industrial building, I killed a zombie with a duffel bag and took it with me, and went back to the house where I left the hammer and saw earlier to dismantle everything until my carpentry was finally level 4. Once it was, I started loading all the planks into my backpack and then into the duffel bag. I didn't want to be too encumbered, so I went back home, dropping off the planks and using the duffel bag as my new ammo bag. For dinner, I whipped up a salad with stale fruit and vegetables and went to bed for the night. Day 13 would finally be the day we made the rain collectors. I checked what we needed, but we were still short on garbage bags. I knew a couple of houses around town that had garbage cans outside, so I went around looking. Along the way, I came across a car I wanted to check for gas. There was a group of zombies guarding the car. One had a survival knife, and one had a purse with a gun inside. The car, however, had no gas and was locked. It did have a battery in the trunk though. Since we were getting a little close, I wanted to check out the industrial building. When we got within viewing distance, I realized it was a storage facility. Y'all tell me down below in the comments if it's worth checking out. I'm not sure about all the locks on the containers and if it'll take really long to loot everything, but since we are already here, I wanted to check inside the house next to the road, where I found food and a hidden zombie inside. I marked the house off of my map, and on my way home I went around like a trash man collecting the garbage bags from the houses. Once we were back home, I dropped off the new battery and weapons before building the rain collectors. I could only make 2 for now. With it still being daylight out, I decided to go search another house, and of course it had a herd outside. Another purse with ammo inside. Inside the house, I would find food, another toy I would take home for when I finally found my daughter, and a crowbar. On the way home, I grabbed 2 more trash bags from my house. And when I got home, I opened a box of rounds we found, now up to 70 45 ACP rounds, along with however much we had stored in our gun magazines. I put the new duck we found on the TV stand and then cleaned myself off. I changed my weapons around, equipping the blue electric guitar as my main weapon. I also built a spiked baseball bat to have on my back. Lastly, I equipped the hunter's knife on my belt, and now that I was extremely tired, I went to bed. Day 14 started with me checking out my map to see where I wanted to go, spotting a group of houses I wanted to check out. After venturing over to the nearby unsearched street, I made my way into the first house. I found a video game we could dismantle at home along with food. The house across the street, however, was a little more difficult to get into, with the door being locked and it being crowded with zombies on the outside. Once the backyard was cleared, I made my way in through the broken window, only finding food and books inside. The next house over was burnt down and only had 1 shelf that was salvageable, and after searching the last house on the street, I marked them all off on the map before returning home. Where I cleared my inventory and then looked around my map for another section for us to start looting. And when I headed over, there were some zombies that had made the convenience store their home once again. Seeing a policeman with a gun, I knew I had to have it. I chased after it, killing every zombie in my way. Finally, I grabbed the shotgun and another bulletproof vest. Realizing we had been here before, I made my way to a safer location. Upon spotting 2 vans crashed into each other, I wanted to check to see if they had any gas, but both were empty. I returned home dismantling some old electronics and putting away my newly equipped gear. When morning would arrive, we would have survived 14 days, but I feel like ending the episodes at night is a little more fitting. So with 202 zombies killed and our skills finally coming together a little bit, Wallace Epperson's story will continue. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see the journey develop further, consider subscribing and turning on notifications to never miss out on a video. Thank you all so much for the support. You all are absolutely amazing. Anyway, I've been ASUS Samurai 7. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.